Let's be honest. Retirement is supposed to be the reward for all your years of hard work, right? The time when you finally relax, breathe, and enjoy life on your own terms. But for so many people, retirement doesn't feel like that. It feels confusing, empty, even a little disappointing. Because somewhere between leaving the office and adjusting to freedom, many retirees fall into habits that slowly steal their energy, their confidence, and even their happiness, without them realizing it. And the truth is, the most dangerous habits aren't the obvious ones. They're the small ones, the quiet thoughts, the subtle routines, the invisible choices that shape how you spend your days. If you want to truly thrive in retirement, not just survive it, there are 7 habits you must break right now. These habits can drain your motivation, your health, your relationships, and even your money if you let them continue. But here's the good news. It's never too late to change them. Because once you understand what's holding you back, you can rebuild your retirement into something exciting, meaningful, and full of life. So let's start strong with the first 2 habits that can completely transform the way you live after 60. Habit number 1, believing that retirement means stopping. This might be the biggest misconception of them all. You've probably heard people say, "I can't wait to retire and do nothing." But here's the problem. Doing nothing might sound like peace, but it quickly turns into boredom, fatigue, and regret. For years, your life had structure. You woke up, had responsibilities, solved problems, and achieved things. You had a purpose. And then suddenly, one day, it's all gone. No meetings, no deadlines, no plans. At first, that feels amazing, but after a few months, the excitement fades and something unexpected happens. Your mind starts to feel restless, your energy drops, your focus fades, and you start wondering, what now?
Because the truth is, human beings are wired for purpose. We need to grow, contribute, and stay active, not because we have to, but because that's what keeps us alive inside. When you stop doing meaningful things, you start losing your sense of self. It's like your inner engine begins to slow down. Think about this. Many retirees who live the longest, happiest lives don't stop working. They just change how they work. They move from careers to callings, from jobs to passions. They mentor young people. They start small businesses. They volunteer. They take classes. They learn new skills. They understand that retirement doesn't mean the end. It means a new direction. Let's take an example. There was a retired engineer named Robert. After leaving his job, he thought his happiest days were behind him. But a few months later, he started teaching basic math at a local community center, just 2 hours a week. Soon, he realized that he wasn't just teaching numbers. He was sharing experience. He was making young students believe in themselves. And you know what? Robert said those few hours a week gave him more joy than any paycheck ever did. Because that's what happens when you stop thinking of retirement as an ending and start seeing it as a reinvention. You've built decades of wisdom, skills, and life lessons. Don't let them collect dust. Find ways to use them, share them, and grow from them. You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. You don't have to go back to full-time work. But you do have to wake up with something to look forward to, a reason to get out of bed, a sense of excitement that says, today still matters. Because retirement should never be about escaping life. It should be about expanding it. So break that first habit right now. Don't retire from something, retire to something.
Habit number 2 is measuring retirement success by money alone. Let's face it, for most of your life, money was the scoreboard. Your paycheck, your promotions, your savings, all of it told you how well you were doing. So it's only natural that in retirement, you still think in numbers. How much do I have left in my account? Can I afford this trip? What if I run out of money? And sure, financial stability matters, no one's denying that, But when money becomes the only measure of success, you start missing the point of retirement altogether. Because you didn't work 40 years just to sit and stare at your savings account. You worked so that one day you could live freely. But here's the sad reality. Too many retirees spend their golden years in quiet fear, afraid to spend, afraid to enjoy, afraid to make a mistake. They say things like, I can't spend too much, I might need it later. But later keeps coming, and they keep saving until it's too late to enjoy it. Let me ask you this. What's the point of saving for 30 or 40 years if you never give yourself permission to enjoy what you've built? Because money's not meant to be hoarded, it's meant to be used wisely. Of course, you shouldn't spend recklessly. You should plan, budget, and protect your future. But here's the key. Don't let fear control your choices. The happiest retirees don't just manage their money, they direct it toward joy, growth, and experiences. They spend it on family trips that create memories. They donate to causes that give them purpose. They take classes that challenge their minds. They invest in their health, their home comfort, and their peace of mind. And here's what's interesting. Research shows that retirees who spend money on experiences rather than things report up to 20% higher life satisfaction. Because experiences create stories, and stories last longer than any object you can buy. Think about it this way. Every dollar you spend in retirement is really a vote for what matters to you. So are you voting for fear, or are you voting for fulfillment?
Let's take an example. Two retirees, Bill and Sandra, both saved about the same amount for retirement. Bill was cautious to the extreme. He kept worrying about outliving his money, so he rarely spent on anything beyond essentials. Sandra, on the other hand, was responsible too, but she made a rule for herself. Each year, she'd spend a small percentage of her savings on something meaningful. Sometimes it was to travel. Sometimes it was helping her kids. Sometimes it was a new skill or community project. 10 years later, both had roughly the same financial security, but Sandra had a lifetime of stories, friendships, and joy. Bill had comfort, but not much life. And that's the difference between existing and living. Here's a mindset shift that might change everything. Instead of asking, can I afford this? Ask, will this make my life richer in meaning, memory, or peace? Because when you measure success by how alive you feel instead of how much you keep, you'll find that your retirement becomes far more rewarding without even spending more. So yes, protect your money, but don't become its prisoner, because money is only valuable when it's used to build a life that feels full. And the best part? When you spend wisely on things that align with your values and happiness, it actually helps you live longer. There's a fascinating study from Harvard that found retirees who continue to seek joy, community, and purpose, even if it means spending a little more, maintain better health, lower stress, and higher satisfaction for decades after retiring. So remember this, retirement is not about saving for tomorrow anymore. It's about living today wisely. Money can't buy happiness, but how you use it can absolutely build it. Let's be real for a second. Most people think retirement is only about money, freedom, and rest. But after a few years, many retirees realize it's not the money or the freedom that challenges them most. It's their habits. Because you can have the best financial plan, a beautiful home, and all the time in the world. But if you keep certain habits, they'll quietly drain your energy, shrink your world, and make life feel smaller than it needs to be. And the next one? It's a big one. Habit number 3, avoiding change. This is one of the most subtle yet dangerous habits in retirement, resisting change. And I get it. You've worked for decades, followed routines, built a rhythm that worked for you. So when things shift, technology, society, even family dynamics, it can feel uncomfortable, even unnecessary. But here's the truth.
The moment you stop adapting, you start aging faster. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. Life keeps moving forward, whether we want it to or not. And those who embrace change instead of fearing it end up not just surviving retirement, but thriving in it. Think about it. Technology alone has transformed how we live. There are retirees today who've learned to use video calls to talk to grandkids across the country. Some use fitness apps to stay healthy, or online banking to manage finances safely from home. Others have even started small online businesses or YouTube channels to share their knowledge with the world. Meanwhile, others refuse to learn these tools, saying, "It's too complicated," or "I'm too old for that stuff." But here's the reality. It's not about age, it's about attitude. A retired teacher once said something powerful. "The day I stopped learning was the day I started shrinking." That's the mindset difference. Retirement gives you the time and freedom to explore new things, not hide from them. Try a new hobby. Take a class. Learn to use new technology. Travel to a new place. Talk to people from different backgrounds. Because each new experience you embrace keeps your brain young, your confidence strong, and your world expanding. Remember, comfort zones are beautiful, but nothing grows there. And you didn't come this far just to stop growing now. So break the habit of avoiding change. Because if you adapt, life opens up in ways you never imagined. And retirement becomes an adventure, not a retreat.
Habit 4. Isolating yourself. This one is heartbreaking, and yet it's one of the most common traps retirees fall into. When you retire, your daily social circle often disappears overnight. No more coworkers, no more team meetings, no more regular interactions. At first, that feels peaceful, but slowly loneliness starts to creep in. You stop calling people, you stop making plans, you tell yourself you're fine being alone. But deep down, you start to feel disconnected, like the world is moving on without you. Here's the truth no one talks about enough. Loneliness in retirement is just as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not an exaggeration. It's an actual study published by health researchers. Because when you isolate yourself, your physical health, mental sharpness, and even your lifespan all begin to decline. Humans are social creatures. We need connection, laughter, shared purpose, no matter how old we are. So if you've been withdrawing, it's time to change that. Start simple. Call an old friend. Join a walking group. Volunteer somewhere that feels meaningful. Take part in a community class, or even host small get-togethers. And here's something most retirees don't realize. Your generation has wisdom and experience that younger people need. Mentoring the next generation, even casually, can be incredibly fulfilling. You'll be surprised how much energy and purpose it gives you. Because the truth is, connection doesn't just happen by accident. It takes effort. But that effort pays back more than anything money can buy. Look at some of the happiest retirees you know. Chances are they're not the richest or the healthiest. They're the most connected. They stay curious about others. They share stories. They listen. They show up. And because of that, life feels vibrant. Every day has people in it, not just hours to fill. So break that habit of isolation. Because while solitude can heal, isolation can destroy. The world still needs you, your kindness, your voice, your presence. And no matter how old you are, you have something to give, something that can make someone else's day brighter. So pick up the phone, send that message, join that club. Don't wait, because connection is not just part of a good life, it is a good life.
Habit number 5. Neglecting your health because you feel fine. This one might sound obvious, but it's one of the quietest mistakes retirees make. Many people spend their working years dreaming of retirement, but when they finally get there, they stop taking care of their health like they used to. They think, I feel okay, or I'm too old to worry about that now. But that mindset is what steals the healthiest, happiest years of retirement. Because your health is the foundation of everything else, your freedom, your joy, your independence. You can have all the money in the world, but if your body says no, your options shrink fast. The good news is, it's never too late to take back control. In fact, studies show that even people who start exercising in their 60s or 70s can still add years of active life to their timeline. And it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to lift heavy weights or run marathons. Just walk every day, stretch, eat real food, get enough sleep. But most importantly, keep your regular checkups, because prevention is always cheaper and easier than cure. There's a story about a man named George, 72 years old, retired accountant, happy but inactive. He said he felt fine, so he skipped his annual checkup 2 years in a row. By the time he went, his doctor found high blood pressure and early diabetes. Luckily, he caught it early, but it scared him enough to change his routine. He started walking every morning, reduced sugar, and joined a local senior gym. 2 years later, not only did his numbers improve, his energy came back, and he said he felt 20 years younger. That's the thing about health. It doesn't just happen to you, it happens because of you. So if you've been neglecting your health because you feel fine, it's time to stop. Because your body might be fine today, but it depends on how you treat it tomorrow. And here's the secret. When you take care of your body, you also take care of your mind. Physical movement, good food, and rest directly improve your mood, focus, and emotional stability. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. So eat for energy, not just for comfort. Move for strength, not just for appearance. And rest like your life depends on it. Because it does.
Habit number 6, ignoring new skills and technologies. One of the most dangerous habits retirees fall into is saying, I'm too old for that. Whether it's smartphones, online banking, health tracking apps, or even learning how to manage digital investments, some retirees choose to ignore technology altogether. But here's the truth. Technology isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally, if you learn to use it wisely. The world is changing fast. Your doctor's office might now send test results through an online portal. Your pension or investment statements might only be accessible digitally. Even grocery stores are moving towards self-checkout and app-based discounts. So when you say, I don't understand this stuff, what you're really saying is, I'm letting the world move ahead without me. And that's not what a confident modern retiree should do. Let's get real. You don't need to become a tech genius. You just need to become comfortable enough to use tools that make your life easier. For instance, learning how to use a smartphone calendar can help you stay on top of medical appointments, birthdays, or bills. Setting up mobile banking can help you monitor your spending without depending on anyone else. Think of technology as a tool for independence, not confusion, because that's what it really is. Imagine being able to video call your grandchildren anytime you want, no matter where they are in the world. Imagine being able to find cheaper travel deals online instead of waiting for someone else to book for you. Imagine being able to track your expenses in real time with a simple app that tells you exactly where your money goes. The retirees who embrace new tools are the ones who stay engaged, alert, and connected. They're not afraid of making mistakes because they know every time they try, they get better. You can take small steps. Learn to use one new app each month.
Ask your children or grandchildren to teach you something new online. They'll love it. Join a local community center that offers digital literacy workshops for seniors. Remember, curiosity keeps your brain young. The day you stop learning is the day your world starts to shrink. So break this habit. Don't resist technology. Recruit it to make your retirement smoother, safer, and more exciting than ever.
Habit number 7. Living without a clear purpose. Now we're at the final, and possibly the most important habit to break. Living without a clear sense of purpose. Here's the hard truth most people won't tell you. Retirement is not about escaping work. It's about rediscovering meaning. When you retire, you lose something you might not have realized you depended on. Structure. Every day of your working life had a rhythm. You had a reason to get up, to be productive, to contribute. But once that's gone, many retirees find themselves drifting, waking up without motivation, staying up late without reason, and feeling like days just blend together. That feeling isn't laziness, it's a lack of purpose. And without purpose, even the most financially secure retiree can start to feel empty. Here's what research shows. Retirees who actively maintain a sense of purpose live longer, healthier, and happier lives. They recover from illness faster. They report higher levels of satisfaction and lower rates of depression. So, what does purpose look like in retirement? It doesn't have to be something grand. You don't have to start a foundation or build a business. Purpose could mean spending more time helping others, mentoring younger people, volunteering at a community center, or even teaching what you know online. It could mean exploring your creative side, painting, gardening, or writing that book you always wanted to. Or it could be something deeply personal, reconnecting with old friends, taking better care of your health, or traveling to the places you've always dreamed of visiting. The key is intention. Every day should have something that gives you meaning, even if it's small. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, I've done enough, I just want to rest. Yes, you've earned your rest, but you've also earned the right to live fully. You spent decades building a career, raising a family, and fulfilling responsibilities. Now you get to build your legacy. And your legacy isn't just about money or possessions. It's about memories, impact, and the mark you leave on people's lives. So, don't live your retirement as if it's the end of the book. See it as the beginning of the next chapter, one that you get to write exactly the way you want.